Hi everyone, the holidays are here and I'm asking for your help to put smiles on the faces of the children this season. All through this month and until December 8th, I'm running a Toys for Tots fundraiser. Donations can be made through my Ko-fi page, and all funds raised will go to purchasing toys for children in need this holiday season. Click the link in the description below and help give a child a Merry Christmas. Click the link in the description below and we can all be Santa Claus this year.
Yo, Joe! He never gives up, he's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I.Joe!
Hi everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Today we have something a little bit different. Instead of taking a look at a new figure, what we're going to be doing is a bit of a comparison with an old figure in multiple forms, and we have Zartan. But before we get to this, I also want to thank all of you. I started asking you a few videos ago. I started doing the whole like, comment, subscribe thing. I started to ask for more engagement to help the channel, to get it circulating. And I asked and you all responded. I really wanted to thank you. That engagement over the past couple videos, with the exception of the mole rat, and I think that's more of an indication of the mole rat than anything else. But really, with Lowlight and Shooter, you guys have helped me out. There's been more engagement, there's been likes, there's been some dislikes, which I'm fine with. Not everybody's going to like everything. And there's been more commenting. And it's really helped to get things circulating. It's even gotten us a few new subscribers along the way. So I just wanted to thank you and ask you again, remember, if you like what we're about to do, give us a like or give us a don't like. And comment on it. Let me know what you think about this once we're all done, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot to talk about, and some people are going to have some thoughts on a few things. Now, what we are doing today is we're doing a comparison of the different Zartans that we've had. Because when I was a kid, Zartan was so cool to me. Zartan and the Dreadnoks, they were so metal. They were so freaking metal. I loved them. I loved the idea of just this biker club that didn't really work for Cobra. They just kind of did stuff for Cobra. They were basically like street mercenaries. I really loved that. And I loved their look. I loved their whole rebellious attitude. And I love that, in the new comics, they're not really bad guys, but they're not really good either. As a matter of fact, when they went into Springfield to bust out Snake Eyes, the Dreadnoks were kind of helping the Joes. It was really interesting, and I really like the evolution of this group, of this faction within G.I.Joe, within the G.I.Joe line, that they've sort of become their own thing at this point. That's why I'm really glad that we're getting some more Dreadnoks with the classified line. As a matter of fact, the Dreadnoks in the comics back in the 80s, I have no doubt is one of the reasons why I now have a bike and I ride. But when Zartan came out for the classified line, I was really excited about it because it was Zartan. It was the beginning of the Dreadnoks. Took us too long to finally start to get them, but that's another conversation. When the first one came out, that's this one. This was based off of the original figure that we got with his little swamp skier. And that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. That's probably what we were all expecting. But it makes him a very brown figure. As a matter of fact, he looks a lot like, color-wise, the Major Blood that we would get later down the line. They added a few things with him, I like the Bowie knife and the snakeskin sheath on the back right here. And I really like the swamp totems, focus in, that he came with, the monkey's paw and the severed copperhead head right here. I think that's really cool. But it doesn't take away from the fact that he's still a very bland character. And at the time, I was really digging him. I was really appreciative of him. I liked all the detail, like the ram's head belt buckle and everything right here. I didn't think I realized just how brown he is. But once you put him next to some of the other Dreadnoks that are going to be coming out, and once you put him next to his sister right here, you really see how muted he is and how he's just kind of not going to fit in with the rest of the crew. So that was why when this one came out, the Master of Disguise Zartan, I was really excited about this. This is him in his silver armor. This was basically him from the comic book. And so this was the one that had the most impact on me. The reality of the figure, once we got him, though, is something completely different, because this one has the color change gimmick that the original figure had, but it's done via temperature instead of light. So when I got him, he was actually already color changing because he came over on that shipping container, and then he spent some time in the back of a FedEx truck, and he already had that blue tint to him. And you can see, well, I don't know if you can see through the camera, but he never really lost it. The skin tone is still like a very ashy gray or an ashy blue. And maybe if I hold the other one up to him, you can see the difference in the skin tones. And I just never really liked that this never fully went away. Also, his silver armor right here is skewed and it's tight, and I couldn't get it to pivot back. And I'm sure if I heated this up and softened it, I would be able to do that. But the magic of this guy has already been lost on me because of the skin tone. Plus, the sniper rifle that he comes with is ridiculously huge. Like, this is insanely huge, this hand cannon right here. This is almost like an anti-tank gun. The bow that he comes with is Storm Shadow's bow from the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, and I feel like he should have the compound bow. Storm Shadow should have this. The quiver they gave him was just from Storm Shadow, and then he has his basic accessories of the backpack, the pistol, and the knife. So he comes with a lot of reuse. As a matter of fact, I think the majority of the dollars on this figure went to the color change and this new sniper rifle. I also appreciate the masks with the hard master and the soft master, his traditional mask, and then you have two different heads of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. And this mask, that when we opened up Vipra, I had completely forgotten that this mask originally came with this Zartan, that it's kind of, I think, supposed to be the Dreadnought symbol that he's wearing. So that's kind of cool. I think these heads came with the figures because at the time, I don't think the standard Storm Shadow, the vintage Storm Shadow had come out yet, that I think you could put this on the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow to give him the white masked head instead of the black one. And this, I believe, was for Snake Eyes, so that if you didn't have the Pulse exclusive that had the silver mask, you could pop this head onto the standard release Snake Eyes body and have a grade visor instead of the silver one from the Pulse, or just the black one that came standard with the figure. I think that's why we got two new heads, because I'm pretty sure this one is the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow just painted white. So I think that's why we got these heads with him. Not 100% certain, but I think that might have had something to do with it. So with all of the reuse, with the skewed armor, and with the skin tones, I was very disappointed with this, and I decided to just leave it in the box. Especially when you consider that you paid extra for it, it was an exclusive, and it wasn't easy to get. Like, there was a lot of scrambling to get this one, and I know a lot of people that wanted this one didn't get it. And I feel bad that I'm talking smack on it when there's probably somebody watching going, dude, I'll take it off your hands. But then that brings us to this one, the retro-carded Zartan. And this is the Zartan from the cartoon. And while I was never a big fan of the cartoon, I didn't hate the look that Zartan had. I dig the blue armor. I really like the green eyes. I've always liked the green eyes on Zartan. And so even the browns are a little bit brighter. And you have, like I said, you have the blue armor in here. You have some additional paint apps to it. You have all of his standard gear, but you can see there is some coloring to that as well, which we'll see in a moment. And he has his file card right here. It's multilingual, which I'm fine with it being multilingual. I'm upset because that really cut down on the amount of usable space that his file card has been reduced to this little corner right here, instead of being the whole thing like it was in the vintage line when the file cards ruled. I have all of the retro carded figures. I got this one when him and Storm Shadow were re-released for the 10/27 event. And I'm going to open him, but it's going to hurt because all of the retro carded figures, and they're bringing out more. The retro carding is coming back. There's going to be heavier card stock. There's going to be a whole line, a whole collection of these. And they're all going, like, this one's going to be open, so I'm going to be short one in the collection. Well, technically I won't, but you know what I mean. But I want to open this because I think this is going to turn into my shelf Zartan. So, here we go. Without further ado, let's just rip him open, and we'll take a look at Hasbro G.I.Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Zartan. Oh, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt so bad. But as the Foosh says, just do it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so before we go on, if anybody is curious, putting the tape measure to them, Zartan is approximately 6.5 inches at the top of his head when he has the cowl on. When we take the cowl off, he's still close to 6.5 inches, just shy though. Now, I have opened up my retro carded Zartan. I do not have a replacement. Hopefully someday I'll get one, but I'll be honest, I do not regret it because already looking at them, I really like this one. Like, even just look at it through the lens, through the camera. I really like this one better than this one. Not just because of the paint apps. Well, because of the paint apps, but like, he just stands out more. There's more detail to him. I think he looks better. I like the skin tone of this one better. Let's just set this one back for a second, and let's bring this one forward and take a look at him. So there is a lot more detail in this than what I thought there was going to be. I like the blue armor, which I keep pointing out, but then you also have the gray straps right here where it holds the armor together. You have the gray web straps in here as well that pieces it all together. But then the buckles have been painted silver, and you have the silver ram's head belt buckle, which I loved the belt buckle when it first came out. I like it even more now that it stands out on him. Also, I should just bring him back forward. Also, even though there's brown on this figure, it is a brighter brown, and I think that because it's a lighter color and a brighter color, you can see the detail in the pants, like all of the creases and the folds in the pants on this one better than you can on this one. And then the boots also, we have a little bit of two-toning. That the boots have some gray to them instead of just being brown, which makes the black armored pieces stand out all the more. Also, the blue armor on the thigh pads right here is outlined very nicely in black. All in all, I just even noticed that the straps around the arms aren't just brown. They're gray like webbing, web belting to match the straps right here on the armor. And I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it's just an optical illusion, but it looks like his secondary belt right here hangs lower on his hip than it does on the original one, letting you see the belt buckle even more. You can also see, now that we have a close-up, the difference in skin tones, that I think this one looks better. Like, this one looks good. I'm not saying this one is bad, but I really like the way that this one looks better. Oops. I also, and I said this one before I opened him up, I love that he has these green eyes. I think that looks fantastic. At first I thought the peaked face paint, the Kiss face paint, was more pronounced on this one, but that is basically the same. His cowl is even a brighter brown. The only thing that I think is the same shade of brown is his scarf right there. And I'm actually surprised that it's still brown and they didn't make it some different color, because I don't think he had this in the cartoon. As a matter of fact, he didn't even have his cowl in the cartoon. In the cartoon, they kind of, I think the animators misunderstood what this was on the figure and they made it hair. I think this was just long hair in the cartoon. But that looks great. This looks so much better. This stands out more. This is brighter. And look at this. Like, it just goes with her. Can't wait to get Xandar. Cannot wait to get Xandar. It just goes with Zarana so much better. Like, it they look good next to each other. Like, this didn't look bad, but this looks better. I'm really happy that I opened this one up. Now we take a look at the accessories. Let's pull this Bowie knife out because we could see them in the packaging a bit. That we do have still the same sculpt. Has that little trigger guard right there for his trigger finger. But I also like that the blade is painted silver. And you still have the serration and you still have the holes in the blade. And it fits very well right there into his snakeskin sheath. So let's set him there. And we can take a look at the backpacks that he comes with. That this one that he comes with has silver paint apps right here. Let's take his pistol off. Silver paint apps right here on the outside, whereas this one didn't have it. It's the same mold. There's just no detail to it. You can see the camera can't even find something to focus on. Now, when we pop this off, we have his mask on the inside. We have silver right there at the top of the mask, and then we have the red striping down in there. Now, with the one that came with the original one, there's a paint app, but it's red up in there, and you don't have nearly as many lines painted in here as you do in the retro carded version. Also, the retro carded version doesn't have the swamp totems right here, but since it's all the same thing, put the lid back on. Since it's all the same thing, that will be an easy swap over. We'll be able to switch that over. His belt also has the peg holes for the totems to hang off of. So if you have the standard Zartan, the original Zartan, you can just pop those off and give them to the new guy if you want to. Also, we have their pistols right here that, truthfully, right now, I just completely forgot which one is which because they are pretty much exactly the same. Same mold, same everything. I think the one that's a little bit brighter of black, which is this one, is the newer one. So, let's bring the new guy forward. You see it, the backpack fits on there very well, and then the pistol just fits onto that peg right there. And he has everything on him just like this one, just like the standard release of Zartan. Whoop. And I'm making a mess of him. There goes his cow. Just like our standard release of Zartan right there. So there you go. Articulation, everything is the same between these two. And also the retro carded figure does come with the stand. That the stand is black with the Cobra logo carved into it. Really like that. Wish all of the classified figures, Hasbro, if you're listening, came with these stands. That would be really cool. Or if we could even just buy those stands separate. I would dig that too. I would probably buy some of those, a pack of them. So there we go. So color-wise, look-wise, appearance-wise, as much as it killed me to initially open this guy, I'm glad I did. He's definitely going to be my shelf Zartan. He's going to replace this one. I think this is the best one that we've had so far. The only thing is that, let's pop him off. I never liked this whole laser pistol thing that he has going on. It just doesn't suit him. I never thought it suited him. But what I have over here is our Valaverse Sergeant Slaughter. And I don't really need this figure on the shelf anymore because we have the G.I.Joe Classified Sergeant Slaughter. When I bought this one, I figured Sarge had signed on with Valaverse with Action Force, and he wouldn't be signing on with G.I. Joe. Oh, fool I was. Of course he was going to sign on with G.I. Joe. Come on. Let's fix that. So, he basically sits in a bin, but he has this big hole puncher right here. So, let's try something. Okay, that looks kind of awesome. So, I was able to heat this up under some hot water. You can see that it fits almost perfectly over the thigh armor. and it just adds something to him. I really feel like, I really think that this big Horkin revolver is more Zartan style than that quasi laser pistol that they gave him. And just look at that. Look at how dirty hairy that is with him. Also on the back here, you may have noticed that his sheath fits that big Bowie knife that Sarge comes with. So basically my Sergeant Slaughter sort of became an accessory kit for my retro carded Zartan. Like, that just looks cool. That just looks so cool. That looks so much better. Yeah, this kind of doesn't fit color-wise, but maybe I'll paint over that. Maybe paint the straps gray to match, like, the straps on the armor. Paint that blue, outline it in black a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I won't do anything to it. Maybe I'll just leave it be, because I might mess it up. Because, as I've said before, I am not a great painter. But that revolver, that big chrome 357, is so much more him than that laser pistol that they gave him. So then we put this on his back, and then we bring in these, hang the copperhead off of his backpack, and then we can hang the monkey's paw off the belt right there. And we have a bit of a kit-bashed custom Zartan. And that looks cool. That looks real cool. That's my shelf Zartan. That looks awesome. Now I can't wait for the Dreadnoks to show up. So something else that I've done is I have swapped out the cowl. This is actually the cowling from the original classified Zartan here. The main reason I did it is because it is a different shade of brown, whereas this one is a more, this is a lighter brown. It blended too much with the scarf, but also this is a much softer material, at least on mine, that it sits better, whereas this one kind of bunches up. It kind of, like, this is the one that came with the retro card. This one kind of bunches up and wants to lift the scarf, and it just doesn't sit right on him. At least mine doesn't. So this one, being a softer rubber, a softer plastic, it looks better, it sits better. I like that you have a coloration difference right in here. So that's one more thing that I'm going to do, is just, is swap the cowls out between them. So this one pretty much more than makes up for my disappointment with the Master of Disguises Zartan. I got over the fact that I opened up a retro carded figure real fast as soon as I got him in hand and started playing around with him and did a comparison of him next to the other ones. I like him much better than the standard classified one that came out a few years ago, and I'm really glad that Pulse had them online and that I was able to snag him up before he sold out again. I will check the website when I put this video up. I do believe he is sold out at Pulse, but I'll put a link there in the description below just in case, because you know how sometimes things go back up on sale, go back available on Pulse without a moment's notice. So go ahead and check that out if you want this one and if you haven't gotten him yet. Or if you're like me and you want a complete set of carded and want another one of this guy just to open. I do think this is a superior figure to the standard release of Zartan. I think this is a superior figure even compared to the Master of Disguise Zartan. I feel like the paint apps are more on. I think he looks better. I appreciate the detail work that went into him. I really like the green eyes. And then there is the small custom kit bashing things that I did with him, giving him the darker brown cowl, giving him the swamp totems from both from the original Zartan, and then the accessories from the Valaverse Sergeant Slaughter just makes him look complete, makes him look perfect. I don't know what else to say. I'm really glad I got him, and I hope everybody that wanted one of these was able to get him. Don't forget, check out our holiday Toys for Tots fundraiser. There will be a link in the description below and in the pinned comment. a modest goal of 300. We're 25% of the way there. I really think we can reach it, and I think we can help put some smiles on some kids' faces this holiday season. Also, thank you for the increased engagement. Thank you for that once again. Thank you for liking, commenting. Thank you for subscribing. For those subscribers that we've picked up since we started doing this, it's really helping out the channel. I have to admit, I'm kind of amazed at how fast all of these little things you're doing to help out are making a difference. So play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.